Hello, and we're back. And this little episode, we're going to be looking at continuing these customs and seeing if I can actually impart any teaching on anybody, or see if I hurt myself along the way. This is my process, and I've tried making videos of this before, but I've never been real happy with how they turned out. So we'll see if this is any different. In our last episode there, we looked at how to clean the cars off, and I'm doing this run of Torinos here. Sorry about the dirty hands again. I'm doing this run of Torinos. This is going to be for the convention that's coming up in a month and a half or so. We're going to have a little limited run that we'll have for sale. But these have been cleaned up, so basically I've buffed them down. I've also cleaned them and scrubbed them down so there's no oil left on them. And I've put them on these paint sticks. And the way I do these paint sticks, there's lots of different ways. You can actually buy them, but I find no point in buying them. Also, I break them a lot, so I don't want to purchase them if I can get away from it. I use dowel rods, and here's the dowel rods I use. Is there a size on this? I don't know if there's even a size on them. I'm looking. I don't even think there's a size on these. I get these at Walmart. They're really cheap. Probably $1 for that many. You can get a ton of them. They're in the craft section. And then I use these little what are these? Electrical connectors. These are the female ones, I believe. And I don't know the size because I took the paper out, but they're the blue ones. I just know I always get the blue ones. And if you take that end right there, like that, just a second, here, I'll show you. This one has it. See that? Now it's been painted many times, so it's red. But see the that red holder on top, I basically filed down the dowel rod to fit in there, so it's a tight fit. And then I use a small drill bit to widen the female hole on the electric, whatever they are. I don't know what those are. Electric connector things. And then put a regular screw through there. So that's the same size screw I use to hold the cars together. And then I just make a little wooden holder here. And you can see it's really thick. If it's thick, they won't fall. So you want it to be kind of thick to give them some stability. And the truth is, all those supplies together probably cost me like $3. And so I just dump the wood holder, I dump all the rods, and I just make new ones about twice a year. And that way they stay sturdy and they cost me practically nothing. So when I'm dealing with the cars, see, I can basically turn the car around to spray underneath it, up on top, wherever I want, and I don't have to hold it with my hands. I do have some of the kind of the wide pinchers. I'll show you what I mean. One of these. I see some of you have used these. These are the wide pinchers. And so they hold the car, the housing. But what I find with these is they're so wide that I can't really get around them to paint. They're really made for larger types of models. So I use those sometimes, but not to paint the main lines. So, okay, I'm going to get ready to paint, and I'll be right back. Now we're over here in our little makeshift paint studio, and Andrew's going to hold my mic here for me. So what I'm going to use is, I've got a Sparmax air compressor. It's a single cylinder. You could use any air compressor. We need so little air for this stuff, air pressure, that you'll be able to use any decent air compressor work. And I have an Iwata airbrush, and it's one of the Eclipse series. It's an HPCS model, but again, you can use anything because we're going to use so little air pressure that most anything will work. So we also need to use some sealer, and I'm going to use white. These cars are going to be black, so I could use a black sealer. I have that, but I'm going to paint the flames on them in red and yellow. And so if you're going to use any color, you probably should use white, or else the colors will be muted. If you're just going to paint the entire car black, then you could either use gray or black on it. But I'm going to use white. And there we go. So we'll give this a test run here. And I'm going to bump up the air pressure just a little bit on this. There we go. All right, and then, so what we're going to use are our little sticks to hold the car. And then we just basically spray it, being careful to cover all the surfaces. And you see the paint's going on really light, like super light. If you're used to using rattle cans, which are fine, I use those too, but it isn't going to go on that fast. We don't want it to. We want it to cover kind of lightly. Not so important for the sealer here, but when we get into the colors, it becomes super important. And you want a thick enough coat that when we sand it with a real light grit sandpaper after we put the clear coat on it, which we'll do here in a little bit, then we've got enough that if we were to happen to sand through the clear coat, we're not going to rub the paint off. So it might seem a little excessive. There you go. But, well, there you go. You're probably down here. That'll work. Now, don't worry about any little bumps or blips or anything that get sprayed on there. It's not going to matter. We're going to sand it down after this. So, another one. There you go. Andrew's got one of his customs in here. Do you want to do that next?
Yeah.
Alright. So we'll get his done just to show you that anybody can do this. It's very easy. I'll do another video later on the type of airbrush. Oh, one thing, and I didn't do it on the last one. Make sure you get the underside, because you never know what part you're going to be able to see. So on this one, see, I didn't get the underside. And you want it to be an even coat. And I used so little pressure that was only about 6-7 drops of primer, and I still have enough left probably for another car. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the camera here in a second. We'll get Andrew set up and he's going to do his. So we've got our we've got the primer on, the white top or bottom coat, base coat. So what I've done, I usually have these big buckets of water, is I've just cleaned off my airbrush. You just submerge it in clean water and then wipe it down. So we'll let it run clear. There we go. And we'll move this over here. Get rid of that. And we're going to use a transparent base for this, which doesn't look transparent. It looks white, but it dries transparent. And I use pretty much exclusively this Auto Air transparent base, which I think is fantastic. It dries super hard. It sands really easy. And there's no yellowing to it at all. So it's real easy to deal with. And all I'm going to do is just spray it on. And you can't really see how much is on there. So it's important that you rotate the car around. And I don't ever sand the base coat. You always want to sand with a clear coat on it, because the clear coat's a lot more durable. If you sand the primer, you're just going to tear it off. And I put this stuff on pretty liberally, because when I sand it, even though it's going to be a very a very light sandpaper. I don't want to sand through it. So there you go. So you see it really doesn't change much. It's a little bit shinier. I'm going to go through the rest of these here. Probably takes about, I don't know, 15 minutes to do. We've probably got about 20 cars here. So we'll be back after that. Just a minute.